Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Happy
Did you
Wednesday.
notice? Did you notice this? There was no screw ups this week. All right, we're good.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's the root beer. Is what it is.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Randy's on his stuff tonight. Woo!
And I had tacos beforehand. I'm good.
Oh God, no.
Hey, should I turn on the the thing? Have you been doing that?
Yeah, go ahead and flip it on.
Press
We
the
haven't done
button
it
now.
Yay. I need to start doing that because I can watch it easier there than I can looking back.
It's easier to watch because sometimes I like to watch these shows while looking at the chat. But in order to do that, I have to be watching on my phone. I can't watch on my TV. So this way, it'll kind of allows me to do both. So I started doing it on my channel too, just because I like to go back. Unlike you guys, I like to actually go back and watch my own shows.
Yeah.
Because I make my shows to entertain me mostly. That's why they're so ridiculous.
I don't watch anybody's shows. I don't watch my show. I barely show up to my shows. What are you talking about?
I'm the only person in this group, guys, who actually goes back and watches his own show. I'm weird like that.
I hope Tex is listening because I bet Tex does.
No, I asked him. He doesn't. Yeah.
The only reason why Randy or I go back and watch something on a show is because we heard something. We're trying to document something. Or
somebody points out. Yeah.
That's it.
No, I sit back on the couch, crack open a beer right after my show. I'll put on my show and I'll sit back and relax, and that's my entertainment time, guys.
I'm telling you, there's just something to be said for somebody who watches himself.
Yeah,
and I'll make myself laugh real hard too.
I bet you do.
I'll laugh at all my own jokes, guys.
Well, somebody has to.
Yeah, I will pop myself.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Mickey. I know I'm your favorite. It's okay.
Ah.
Oh, no. But I am going to tell the other two just because they need to know. They need to understand what they need to aspire to be. Okay? So they're.
Yeah.
I know it. Why
are you doing tongue in cheek? I see you sitting there biting your lip. What?
I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. So 1 month away, ladies and gentlemen. 1 month.
1 month.
One freaking month.
We're just going to do that right there.
Crossing Realms Conference, September 19th and 20th at the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri. Hey, I don't even know what to say about this conference. It is rounding up nicely. You know, I just don't even know what to say. I know you all have been hearing us talk about it, but of course on the 19th we're going to have, I don't want to call it a meet and greet because that's really not what it is. It's a precursor of what's to come on Saturday. We are going to have guest speakers. We're going to be seeing a newly released documentary from Chris Garantano. We are going to have Miguel Ramirez on Friday night. God willing, everybody be praying for Martin Groves. We hope that he's better, that he'll be able to come and attend. He has been very sick and in the hospital, so prayers go out to him tonight.
Yep.
You know, and then on Saturday, guys, the all day conference. We will have, of course, speakers all day long. We will have vendor booths. We will have haunted cars for you to look at. We will have tours at the museum. We will have a psychic gallery reading with Mary Lynn Bass that day. We do have a ghost hunt, but unfortunately that is sold out. We don't have any of that available. And for all ticket holders, our vendors, and speakers, we have Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a social night. Yes.
It's called a shindig. For everybody that don't know, that's called a shindig.
Yeah, we're going to have a shindig, a very relaxed shindig. This is just let your hair down. Let's just talk, chat, have a great time. All of our speakers won't be in by then, but most of the Island of Misfit Toys will be there. There will be a few speakers that will be available that night. I don't even know what to say. And it's just going to be a hangout time because normally there's an after party. We don't have time for that. We just booked ourselves too full, so we had to do a before social. So
right.
Do you need to bring your own chairs? No, you don't have to bring your own chairs unless on Saturday you will have to have, a place to sit. I do recommend bringing maybe your own chairs, maybe to sit. There won't be very many available out in the vendor area. There will be some that's inside the speaker area that you'll be able to sit, so it'll be no problem. So anyway, there you go. There you go, everybody. I can't talk about it enough.
Please keep talking, because we need more and more people to sign up.
Yes.
Sign up. Get your butts there. Come see them. And even if you can't do the ghost hunt or whatever, hey, you'll always get a chance to walk around the area and walk through during the day, okay? And you just never know what might happen.
Oh gosh, no. Things have happened to me in the Ray County Museum during the day. So do not go in there without a camera rolling. Don't go in there. I'm just telling you. Make sure you at least have some audio.
Yeah. Other than that, what else we got going on this week? Has everybody had a fun week yet? Because I'm actually in a fairly decent mood for once.
Oh, wow. Really?
Look, she's scared already. You can tell in her eyes. She's already scared.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's been a good week so far.
Right. Hey, I'm glad somebody is having a great week. Somebody needs to, and I'm glad it's you, Randy.
Well, I'm about due, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not complaining a whole lot.
Right. On a personal note, my mother is still in the hospital, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but she is still in there. We have got no definitive anything at this point. So we're just waiting.
Still trying to figure out what's going on, really, huh?
Yeah, and it just seems to be getting worse. So if in the next couple days that this does not get better, I'm going to have her transferred somewhere else. I'm going to have her take her to St. Louis or somewhere else. Even though they're trying here at this hospital, of course, they have limited resources and everything else. So we're probably going to have to take her somewhere else. But we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done.
Well, you got to. You got to do what you got to do on that.
That's right. But other than that, it's just a long work week. I wish it was over, but it's not.
Yeah. What about you, Donnie? How you doing other than pissing off a bunch of people with insurance problems?
It's been a pretty normal week, I'd say. Pretty standard, I guess. Nothing too special happening. It's all right. Can't complain. Yeah.
In that neck of the woods.
Yeah, can't complain.
Now, Donnie, tell us, is that hurricane going to get up near you?
Maybe. I don't know. Those kinds of hurricanes, they always tend to miss my area, like by a hair. So we'll see.
Skirted on the outside there.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about it. They always just kind of avoid us.
Are you looking at maybe some high winds and a lot of rain?
Probably. Yeah. I'm not too worried.
Yeah. I saw today where they're evacuating the Outer Banks and stuff like that, but that's
North Carolina though. So,
but that's just still mainly due to storm surge and winds, and that's it, because it's not going to actually make landfall. So
yeah.
I don't think this one's
my daughter is breathing a sigh of relief tonight due to the fact that she's in South Carolina.
Okay.
Oh,
so she's like, whew, but she's not far from the coast at all. Not far at all. Probably about 30 minutes. And
still in the zone, then.
Yeah, she's gonna get some winds and some rain, definitely. But she's like, at least they're not taking the brunt of the most hairy part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So she's better.
Cool. That's a good thing.
Yes.
So, who is running this show tonight?
I guess it'll be me.
Donny.
Yeah, that's my topic tonight. Okay. So, on to the topic at hand. So, today we are going to be discussing the Wendigo. Okay. It's a topic that has come up in multiple of these shows, of these sorts of shows, but rarely do I ever, if ever, see an entire episode dedicated to the phenomenon known as the Wendigo. So that's where I wanted to spend today's episode, just talking about what we know about the Wendigo, just talking a little bit about the legend and some of the encounters and some of the cases that we suspect might be associated with the entity known as the Wendigo, and also just talking about what we think it actually is.
Okay.
I don't know, guys. Let's start real simple. So, what do you guys know about the Wendigo? What are your thoughts, opinions? You know, you hear it mentioned all the time, but we rarely see topics dedicated to it. So, yeah, just general thoughts before we dive in.
Okay.
You know, I have never thought it was a cryptid ever.
Never?
No. I think this is something more on the demonic side. It just has that bad mojo to it. It just really does. Any story that I've ever heard about it, I'm just thinking that is not a cryptid. That is not of this world. It is not. I think it is, like I said, more on the demonic side, with a deep-seated, like dark. I don't want to say magical. I don't want to say that. I don't even know how to put it. A deep, dark, spiritual side, should I say?
Yeah.
A real estate agent says, first time I ever heard of Wendigo was in a comic book. Looked like a Bigfoot, but all white fur, like in the snow. I think what he's referring to is one of the Incredible Hulk's enemies.
Exactly what it was.
The Wendigo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where they adopted that name for it, you know, and it fit for what they drew and what they wrote that part for, or that character. It fit perfectly. It was a perfect fit for it. So
Randy, what about you? General thoughts on the Wendigo before we dive in.
It's all Native American to me. I mean, it's one of those things that it's all based on folklore and stuff and legends of the boogeyman type things up, especially around the Great Lakes and such.
Yeah.
But I think I read on it today as Algonquin or something was the main bunch of it or whatever. But anyway, the biggest thing I remember about any of it is because anybody that ever saw the movie in 2013, the making of the Lone Ranger movie that came out, that Disney was behind with Johnny Depp playing Tonto, he kept talking about Wendigo. He kept talking about the Wendigo. The bad white men were actually possessed by the Wendigo, is what he always kept saying throughout the entire movie until the end. He's like, "Nah, you're just a dumb white man." As I was sitting there, that stuck with me. And then every time somebody started talking about the Wendigo, I was like, it fits with what they were trying to say in the movie too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was almost like he was using the folklore to justify the bad things that were happening. So
right.
Or, you know, maybe this is just something to, again, we've heard it before, something made up to scare the children.
Yeah, could have been.
Into behaving.
Yep. Boogeyman gonna get you.
Yeah, exactly.
Paula asks, what's the difference between Wendigo and Skinwalker? Well, for one, the immediate thing is that Wendigos are never human, or they never start off as human. Now they can inhabit the body of a human and appear as a human, but Skinwalkers are originally human, and then later they make some kind of pact or dark ritual to become what they are. Yeah. You can almost imagine Wendigos are kind of the other way around.
Yeah.
Right? They start off as an entity or a spirit or some kind of creature.
Yeah.
You know, as I was looking into this, I found it real interesting because in some ways it's kind of like Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Yeah. Because it's a creature that multiple tribes throughout North America claim that are just plain real, that they accept as real.
Yeah.
Tribes that have no reason to be in contact with one another. Now, Randy, you mentioned earlier they were part of the Algonquin folklore.
Yeah.
So I looked into the Algonquin. Algonquin is not so much a tribe as it's more really an ethnic group. It's like a collection of tribes. So I looked up the demographic spread of the Algonquin peoples. And this is consisting of multiple tribes, but it looks like this. So basically everywhere where you see the red, that those are going to be areas where the local Native Americans have legends and folklore and tales and In some cases, even encounters with the Wendigo. So it's
Okay.
going to be like the Great Lakes, stretching all the way to like Minnesota and along the northeast coast.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot of space.
Yeah.
That's a lot of different people. That's why it's kind of like Bigfoot in that it's almost universal. Not entirely, but I mean, that's a big area for people to for there to be people who just accept the fact that Wendigo are real. Now, if you look into the folklore, they don't see it as just a creature that inhabits people. They see it as like a spirit or some kind of demonic, unearthly thing. They see it as an actual creature, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's described as, some tribes describe it as being giant, like multiple size times bigger than like a regular man. But in most cases, the way it's described is unusually gaunt, long limbs, and in a lot of cases, it'll be featured with with deer antlers. Now, the gaunt portion of the description is especially important because the legend of how what the main drive of the Wendigo is to consume human flesh. Because for a lot of them, it's the spirit of gluttony, right? The spirit of just ravenous behavior, just going rabid, essentially. But cannibalism and gluttony. And the reason why it's depicted as being gaunt, as it is in so many cultures, is because as the Wendigo feeds on people, it doesn't grow fat. It just stays gaunt, but it just gets bigger. Like the limbs get longer, but it never gains any fat on its body. It's still like super skinny because it's always in a state of hunger, no matter how much it feeds and no matter how big it gets.
So kind of sounds like zombies from The Walking Dead.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Now, Michelle asked a question here. She said there was none of them, and those that showed from California or Oregon. And she's right. That map you showed didn't have any of it there.
Yeah, unless they traded with those people. But I think those people on the West Coast were all concerned about Bigfoot or Sasquatch.
Yeah. Yeah, they could be too. I mean, that they may have, kind of looked at them as their own version of them,
Yeah, Riley's like a lot of Wendigo stories up here in northern Maine. Yep.
Yeah.
That falls in that category.
Yeah, so nothing along the West Coast really at all. So
no, nothing in Texas or Florida.
Nope. So that tends to make me think toward these are more the hunter gatherer type Native Americans that you talk about up in the areas that these guys are at, more in the woods, more in the woodline and stuff. Whereas you get further out west and south, you're dealing with Plains Indians / Native Americans. The Plains, they everything was based on the buffalo then,
Yeah.
So where the buffalo went is where they went. They were more nomads.
Now, if you notice in these areas, though, these are all areas where winters are particularly bad.
Yeah.
Right?
So they would hold up, right?
Yeah. So for a lot of these tribes or a lot of these peoples, as the folklore goes, winter will be a time of where everyone's like on the verge of starving to death and freezing to death because resources are so limited because of the climate conditions. So in a lot of these stories, there's a lot of desperation, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to drive people to cannibalism, especially these people who are so accustomed to surviving. But in a lot of these tribes, they do deal with a very real phenomena of Wendigo psychosis, which is the state of mind where you are just out to eat people. Go ahead, Brandi.
That just reminds me of the story about the guy who got on a bus.
I'm about to bring that up. Yep.
Okay. Let's see.
Actually, let's bring that up now. Let's bring it up now. Now that we went there. So, July of 2008, there's a Greyhound bus traveling along the main highway. Basically, where they were, I looked at it up on the map. They departed Edmonton on the way to Winnipeg. They were on the Yellowhead Highway through Saskatchewan. And basically on the map, I looked it up, and it was like right north of where North Dakota is.
Okay.
So what happened was on this bus, there were these two individuals. This is where they were sitting on the bus. They were like one row ahead of where the bathroom would be. And you had this young gentleman, Tim McLean, same last name as Jason, 22 years old, sitting window side. And then you had Vincent Lee, a 40-year-old Chinese immigrant, who just randomly switched seats, dead of night. They didn't say a word to each other. There was no altercation or no argument or anything. And all of a sudden, Vince Lee takes out a buck knife and just starts hacking away at him. Bus stops. People start freaking out. Everyone exits out, leaving Vince. A couple of people tried to stop Vincent Lee from doing what he was doing, but he managed to chase them off by slashing at them with his buck knife. And then when everyone was off the bus, police arrived. He was locked in. He proceeded to consume parts of his victim's flesh. He removed his head. He ate his eyes and all these other parts. They later arrested him. They managed to get him out. They tased him. Yeah. They had to tase him twice. He kind of snaps out of it. Yeah. And he gets locked away in an involuntary mental institution to be treated for an extreme case of schizophrenia, which had gone undiagnosed up until that point.
Now, did they test him for like substance abuse or anything like that?
Yeah, so it turns out that he had no substances. He did not have a history of violent crime or mental illness. Mm-hmm. Because he had grown. Actually, this guy was originally from Wuhan, China, and he moved to Canada as an adult with his wife Anna. And Anna worked as a waitress, and this guy he was like a forklift driver essentially. Lived a pretty quiet life. Didn't speak any English, and he was actually taken in by a local church, just as like social support.
Poncho. Oh, that was Poncho. Sorry.
And he had a tough time, but during that time, he converted to Christianity. And according to witnesses and people that knew him, it was when he converted to Christianity is when all the odd behavior started occurring. He started reporting hallucinations. He started telling his wife and the people around him that God was speaking to him. Yeah. And that there were aliens, and then the aliens were sent by demons. And then he had to go and kill the aliens. And after the bus incident, when they interviewed him, he thought that Tim McLean was an alien, and he heard the voice of God telling him to destroy it. Now, a few days prior to the incident, witnesses saw him sitting at a different bus station a few days prior, sleeping overnight on a bench. But the thing that was alarming was that people who saw him, he was like up at 3 a.m, sitting upright with his eyes wide open, just muttering to himself. Now, you may think that this is an unrelated case, but when you look at where it occurred, and that is in the heart of Wendigo country, and it is sounding very similar to something like,
the Wendigo psychosis that you're talking
Wendigo
about.
Psychosis.
Yeah. I mean, even if he was schizophrenic, which seems like that's what they determined him to be, it's funny that was all happened right then when he went through there. I know the what you're saying about after his conversion to Christianity or whatever it was, it started kind of acting up a little bit, but it really didn't go out that deep until he happened to be going through that area.
Yeah.
Unless he did something that they don't know about beforehand. You know what I mean?
So the news reports, they don't mention Wendigo anywhere because obviously it's mainstream news. But I mean,
this is why I keep stating that I think that they're on the demonic side of everything. First of all, never being human. Well, that's what your demonic entity is. It's never been human. So, I mean, it has that same similarity with it. Also, it sounds like this man was being oppressed when he's having these visions and all of this other stuff of the aliens. And then, finally, when it went overboard is when the full on, possession had began, right thereof. So that's what it sounds like to me. But he said he thought that that guy was an alien.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's a free man now.
Right.
He was discharged. Yep.
Do you remember not too long ago about a woman on an airplane that had a freak out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
About
yeah.
a person saying that person is not real. They're not human.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I remember that. It's not been too long ago. What, about 3 weeks?
No, it's been longer than that. It's been about a year or two now.
She was about a different one. Somebody did that a couple 3 weeks back too.
Yeah, she was on an airplane, which she was freaking out. And then after everything was said and done, she kind of retracted her statement. Don't know why that happened, but it's kind of curious how that happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, somebody got her, and you could tell visibly from the video being taken of her at the time that she was shaken. She was scared. She was trying to tell anybody and everybody, hey, that's not real. That's not human. Just, I mean, that's a similarity that we're having to Lee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she thought it was an alien. I mean, maybe he wasn't wrong. Maybe Lee was right.
Yeah.
But consuming is a different story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally different animal there.
Yeah. Now, after he had done all this, was he like fine and normal after that? Did he suffer any more, episodes like that? Did he, I don't know. I mean, was there anything else that says, hey, this man might have been mental versus, possessed maybe?
There was nothing in his history to indicate as such. But
with him walking free, I'm guessing what I'm saying is that it was like a one-time incident.
It was like a one-time incident, yeah. No run-ins with the law.
Possession. Yeah, that sounds like possession. They got what they wanted. The man did what they wanted him to do, and boom, he's gone. They're gone.
Now, the thing is, there's another famous story or famous incident that happened not too far from there in Alberta, right in that similar-ish territory.
Yeah, it's funny how
Swift Runner.
Yeah.
You guys are familiar with this story? One of the most notorious Native Americans ever in history, who was caught and I think he was executed, right? Didn't he wind up getting hung? Yeah,
I want to say he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a minute since I've read on him, but yeah, I think so.
For essentially consuming his entire family.
Yes.
His wife, his sons. And this was in the winter when things were getting kind of,
scarce,
kind of dicey. But he was only like 20 miles away from a supply depot. And this guy was he was an actual runner, meaning like he actually knew the land well, was able to travel that area very well. Getting supplies was no problem for him. But for some reason, for whatever reason, when he was with his family during the winter of 1898, wound up killing and consuming his entire family.
Okay. It's 1898, not 1878, because that's what I was about to ask.
Was it 1878? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because Riley put that out.
Oh,
a little bit earlier.
1870. Well, 1879 was the date of the murder. Sorry.
Still, we're talking about late 1800s when this happened. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So still, I mean, I'd started that thinking, I was like, I want to bring it up later, see if we can talk about it. But then you went to it. I was like, hey, that's either way. The dude knew his area and stuff, and all of a sudden he just lost it and went after his family.
Now, what year did Lee do this? What year?
2008.
Yeah, 2008, July.
Strange.
See, the difference with the Donner Party was that they were this was out of desperation.
Yeah, they were starving. They were actually starving.
Yeah, this dude had every means of getting food.
Mm-hmm.
He was only from 20 miles away from like the Hudson Company Supply Depot, which he knew where it was.
Yeah.
Easily able to travel there and get supplies if needed. You know, the Donner Party, they were in a land that was completely unfamiliar to them, and they got trapped because they had no wherewithal or clue how to navigate that winter. This guy's not falling for that, you know?
No.
There's a reason why they call him Swift Runner, because he was an actual runner. He was like a supply runner.
Yeah.
This guy knew how to get supplies. He just wound up murdering and eating his family.
And still don't know why or how come.
Well, it's said that when, he was a 6'3" strapping guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was well known around the Fort Saskatchewan settlement. Like, he was known as a guy who, you know, knew that land and who could get by.
Yeah. So he didn't need to, is what I'm saying. He didn't need to. Something snapped in him and he had to.
Well, leading up to that, there were reports that when he first met like the white man, right? He got introduced to a little something called whiskey. He turned into a real menace in his tribe. So he had to get isolated with his family outside of the tribe. So there were events leading up to it. The guy was like 6'3". He was a big dude too. And they don't usually get that big back then, you know?
Oh, hey, Canadian run. We need a Canadian run. We need to go to the courthouse there.
There you go. Well, it sounds like to me like the stories that we're talking about is just like a spur of the moment, like 1 minute you're okay and then bam, the next thing you're committing these crimes. There's no forethought or you know, it's not like they sat there and picked out their victim. It was just like it happened and for no reason. You know, and I know. Anyway. Did they do any reports that they thought that he may have had a mental illness also?
Well, at that time, I wouldn't have thought that he even thought about mental illness, honestly.
Well, there were a bunch of other Native Americans who were there to witness the hanging. And, you know, they were there kind of because this was like, it wasn't every day you see a Native American get hung like that back then.
Yeah, no.
For crimes. But they were all saying it. They were like, this is Wendigo. This is full on Wendigo.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's kind of freaky though, that you would go against your family. I mean, I wonder if it had been gnawing at him for days or weeks or months or, you know, just that you need to off your family. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just, you need to do that. You need to do that. And of course I'm going back to it again. It's more of a demonic sense of things because that's what they do. They eat away at you until you do what they want to be, you know, what they want done until you do that. It had been interesting to know more about that.
Yeah.
If they could have got more information or recorded more information, you know, or just knew the right questions to ask.
Riley says he had his wife, 6 children, mother, and brother.
Yeah. So he
I mean, I'm sure he did this over weeks. You know, he couldn't have done it. There's no possible way he could have done that all in one sitting. So it had to have been weeks that it took him to do this.
Yeah.
Did it say how he was found out?
Yeah, no, they have they go into all of that. I didn't read too much on that, but yeah, there's a whole explanation. But let me see. He was acting weird. He was acting shifty around the authorities. They got suspicious. They followed him back to his encampment and they basically found all the bones. Yikes, they took pictures of some of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I'm okay.
Well, they have to. They have to.
Yeah, we don't need to show that.
We don't need to show that. But yeah, I mean, it definitely they have to do the crime scene thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really gets to you knowing that somebody can just snap like that. And then come back to their senses.
Yeah. Right, because he lured them out into the woods when he got them. So he had to pick them off one at a time that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's just.
And again, it's not like out of desperation. He had access to supplies. He had access to civilization. He knew where everyone was. You know.
Yeah, he was in complete. I don't want to say possession mode, but something else was controlling him at that point. I do believe.
That's what it sounds like to me too, Randy. It really does. It really does. Just his actions, to keep it quiet, to not realize he'd done anything wrong.
Yeah, and to think about it, if he did do it over the course of several days or weeks or whatever, did that thing have control of him the whole time? Or did he have no knowledge when it wasn't in control of what was going on? He went about his day, come back, and it took over again. I mean, you'd have thought if it didn't, that he would have at least one point said, "Hey, where my family going?"
Yeah.
Or why am I doing this? That would be the question. Why am I doing this?
But
you would think after consuming the first one, that there would have, the questions should have started coming, but they didn't.
That's what I'm saying. What if he didn't realize that he was doing it? Is what I'm saying.
Well, I think he did because he continued on with his normal everyday goings on. He continued on with his normal everyday life, but it was only after he had done it all, and then he started acting weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he had already consumed all of them, so he started acting weird after the fact. You know what I mean? So it was like something had held possession of him until he had finished the task at hand, and then was starting to release him when he started acting weird.
Okay, Ben said something that's kind of interesting. Wendigo might have done it. The dude let it in though.
Yeah.
I see that too.
Right.
And it's funny to me how this story kind of happened in a similar-ish area as this story.
Yes.
No,
they call that Wendigo psychosis. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it makes sense.
Police found human bones scattered around the site. Bodies been butchered and cooked. Pot full of human fat. Bones have been broken open, likely to extract the marrow.
Yeah, no.
And I mean consuming every last bit.
Yeah. Nothing was going to go to waste.
Yeah. This wasn't a desperation. This dude was like, you look yummy. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe he was contemplating it before he did it. Maybe he had this all planned out.
Yeah.
But then again, it may be just like things were bothering him up until the point, and then he saw the family, and then he's like, well, I'm going to do this. Just like Lee did. You know what I mean? He was hearing the voices and doing the things, and then all of a sudden he says, I've got to get this to stop. So if I do this, maybe it'll stop.
Yeah.
Or just wasn't thinking at all. I'm trying to put some spin to it, but it's all gross. It's really gross.
Now another story is that of Jack Fiddler. Now this isn't an actual picture of Jack Fiddler. This is actually his son.
Okay.
This was 1910. So Jack Fiddler he was executed also for murder, but for the complete opposite reason.
Yeah.
He was a shaman and a chief, and his job was to get rid of Wendigo.
Oh.
But the only way to get rid of someone who's been possessed by the Wendigo is you have to end their life.
Yeah, you have to do away with the person who is taken over by the Wendigo. You can't do it in the Wendigo natural form.
Exactly. So is Jack Fiddler's, this guy's father, and he was a legend. He was like, if Wendigo was Dracula, Jack Fiddler was Van Helsing.
Yeah.
And all the different neighboring tribes, he was the guy to call if you had a Wendigo problem. And people would come to him regularly and say, hey, we've got a Wendigo situation here over at this tribe where they need you. They would call him over and he would go over and he would help the people. Then they would have to put them down.
Oh my gosh. So I
don't
know. I have to think about that. Because
so it was a different situation from Swift Runner, because with Swift Runner, all the other local Native Americans were like, yeah, that dude needs to go. With this guy's father, Jack Fiddler, people were like, no, this guy's doing a good deed. He's I forgot. So he was actually in jail, right? And then they managed to get him a pardon. But before he got wind of the pardon, he actually committed suicide in jail because he thought he was going to get executed.
Oh,
but they managed to get him a pardon. But he ended his own life before the news reached his ears. That's especially tragic.
That was Fiddler, right?
Yeah, Jack Fiddler.
Because that, you know what that kind of sounds like? It sounds like the Salem witch trials all over again. People going, oh, there's a witch, and they ended up doing away with these women and stuff. I mean, it sounds like the same thing. Like, hey, we got Wendigos in here, and he'd just go in there and take care of them. So it sounds kind of like the same thing.
But these are like family members, apparently.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like almost like the same thing. They're being accused of being something, and they're not even sure. And they, it was just kind of like he was the judge and the jury and the executioner and that whole thing. And they gave him a lot of power to do that.
Well, maybe they had a real problem. Maybe they had a real Wendigo problem.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Yeah. Because, I mean, I could say, hey, Donny, you're a Wendigo. You know what I mean? And then somebody come and do away with you because I said.
But it's another thing if you're doing that, if you're saying that about someone in your immediate family, though.
Oh, I know some people who don't like
it wasn't,
family members.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the Salem witch trials were like people in the same town who may or may not have had a beef with someone, like another person in the town. But they weren't like outright accusing like their own siblings or their parents or their kids. Mm-hmm. That's why, I do understand that there is a real distinct possibility that it all could have just been malarkey. And it was like the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
But the fact that a lot of times it was immediate family members asking for his help and with the implicit knowledge of what he has to do, because they know that their kid or their brother or sister is about to straight up go out and eat people.
Yeah.
And that's like the only choice that they got. And for them to realize that it was that big of a problem. And this was later in history. This was 1910.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're thinking, hey, my sibling is trying to consume, my tissue, I would say, we need to do something like that,
Oh, yeah.
I would. I mean, I definitely would because there is something wrong. So maybe that was the case. Maybe, people are like, hey, this person is literally trying to consume another family member. This is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's the case.
But it's just amazing that for them culturally, the Wendigo phenomena was so real and so much of a real threat that they had to go to that extremes. And then there was a guy like Jack Fiddler whose job it was to deal with that in that manner. And that other neighboring tribes, not just his own tribe, but other neighboring tribes, they knew that he was the guy to call if you had a Wendigo problem.
Well, he was the go-to guy, and he made sure he was needed. What do they call that? Job security.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have a little problem with the story. Just, I mean, I know that he did this and blah blah blah, but I mean, our investigative reporting and investigations, just period, are more extreme today than they were back then.
Right.
You didn't have to have a lot of things to be deemed a criminal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if any of those people were, you know, done away with due to the fact is because he just deemed it necessary, that it wasn't really a true thing, that he just deemed it necessary. But again, we're talking about the same area, Donny, right? I mean,
pretty similar.
Right. All three areas that we've talked about are in that red splotch on that map.
Let me see where exactly where he was at. I just want to make sure. Jack Fiddler he was a chieftain and a shaman of the Sucker people, northwestern Ontario.
Okay.
So roughly not exactly the same area, but definitely within this patch of land.
Yeah, that's a wide patch.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, did you prepare anything this week? Because you know what time it is. It's
Donny Cho, meme of the week.
I actually didn't prepare anything.
You didn't prepare anything? Well, that's okay, because I went out and found something for you.
Oh, nice.
Because the Wendigo is what we're talking about, and people get freaked out by tooth fairies and stuff like that and certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tooth fairy meme ain't disturbing. Come on now.
You think the tooth fairy meme is disturbing? Oh, yeah, they got some Wendigo action up in there.
Yeah. Hold my beer. Here we go. And then look at the drawing on it, too. I mean, look at the little skulls on the thighs and the knees and such.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Nice. Cryptical Crossroads. Okay, guys, I'm out. All right, peace out. But getting my first live going. Oh, you should.
All right, good deal.
I'll look you up. I'll check out your stuff, dude.
Definitely go check it out for sure. And she missed it.
Nice.
She missed all the fun. God.
No, congratulations on doing your first live, man. When I first did my first live, I remember that was a big deal for me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
In fact, so I'm excited for you, dude.
Yep.
So, okay, Brandi.
Yes.
So, this is just from the Wikipedia article, but I found an interesting account. Okay. This is from the historical records. These were Jesuits who were exploring the Great Lakes area in 1661. So this is way back, right?
Okay.
This is their account of the Wendigo. This is from Jesuit priests who were exploring that area in 1661 after coming in contact with the locals. This is what they wrote. So what caused us greater concern was the news that met us upon entering the lake, namely, the men deputed by our conductor for the purpose of summoning the nations to the North Sea. He's talking about the Great Lakes. And assigning them a rendezvous where they were to await our coming, had met their death the previous winter in a very strange manner. These poor men, according to the report given to us, were seized with an ailment unknown to us, but not very unusual among the people we were seeking. They were afflicted with neither lunacy, hypochondria, nor frenzy, but have a combination of all these species of diseases, which affects their imaginations and causes them a more than canine hunger. This makes them so ravenous for human flesh that they pounce upon women, children, and even upon men, like veritable werewolves, and devour them voraciously without being able to appease or glut their appetite, ever seeking fresh prey, and the more greedily, the more they eat. This ailment attacked our deputies, And as death is the sole remedy among these simple people for checking such acts of murder, they were slain in order to stay the course of their madness.
Wow.
Yeah. What
This
the?
is Great Lakes area.
And there's something to be said about the Great Lakes area in and of itself, obviously. When you talk about the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and such like that, too.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the Upper Peninsula, there's just funny things going on all the way around the Great Lakes sometimes.
Yes.
So,
I don't know. I mean, they talk about Mackinac Island and the Mackinac Hotel and all of that being haunted and all of that stuff. So yeah, I could see that, but I had to look up something really quick because the way that this creature looks is reminding me of another childhood terror, and you could call it Krampus or Krampus, whatever you choose, but it kind of looks the same.
Yeah,
I mean,
thought so
can you
too.
find a picture and pull one up, Donnie? I mean, it kind of looks the same. It has the devilish kind of look to it.
Yeah. With that
so
skull,
I'm wondering if they're and this is supposed to be in cold weather areas like the Alpines and all of that.
Yeah.
Where this creature goes with Santa Claus. So I wonder if they kind of like took part of like the Wendigo folklore and brought it in again to what I said earlier, like when we first began the show, that maybe this was something that was told to scare children.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way I always kind of lean toward the stuff I kept hearing about Wendigo is like another version of a boogeyman to me. It's basically every story is the same.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Like I said, and it's like they don't have the deer horns, but they have horns nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, but they do look very similar, and the stories are the same.
Yeah, and like I said, every version of Krampus. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the movie Krampus. I thought they did a great job with that too.
That's Krampus.
Yeah. What was that movie a while back with not the movie Krampus, but there was a movie with The Rock where he was like a head elf or head security guy for Santa. This was last year.
Red One.
Was it Red One? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
But remember the dude that played Krampus in that? Mm-hmm. And they took a perfectly great view of the Krampus legend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They made him fun of him, but he said, "Hey, you can't have this side without this side. The good without the evil doesn't work." And he wasn't really evil; he was just the punishment phase of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could see them using this as a boogeyman for their kids.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Don't explain eating people.
Yeah,
don't explain eating people.
That's what I was thinking exactly. I mean, maybe it was that. I don't know, but it looks eerily similar to where I had to question it because I was thinking that and I was like, "Ooh, wait, hang on."
100%. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they took it from the Wendigo folklore and put it into the magic of Christmas, and I don't know why. I mean, I thought the naughty or nice list would be enough for St. Nicholas, but evidently not. Evidently not. So I don't know. I mean, it just seems like to me, I don't know, guys. I mean, what do you think it is? Do you think it's real? I mean,
I think
I'll let you go.
I think there's definitely a link with the location. The way that it's just so ravenous like so much so, and it's so sudden and acute, and the fact that they're in the same area, like I can't think of too many. I mean, yeah, there are stories, horrific stories of cannibalism, but those are usually like an ongoing, like a Jeffrey Dahmer thing, where it's an ongoing sadistic thing, or if
Yeah.
it's like the Donner Party, where it's like desperation, survival instinct. But like a sudden, acute, like super ravenous, like
an onset of it,
onset of it. I mean, especially
And
this guy, because this guy was really cooking them up, and he really didn't need to.
He had pots of the human fat, and that had been rendered off and stuff. And I'm like, this dude is. I don't know if it's so much. Well, it's an easy way to explain what happens up there. You got that one, and there's probably
and then
more.
This guy that would just start eating another dude on a bus. I mean, in front of everyone.
I imagine the rest of those people on that bus were in complete disarray and trying to figure out what the hell is he actually doing.
One of the responding police officers actually wound up taking his own life because he was so traumatized by the events. One of the sergeants on the scene.
Wild.
Yeah,
that is wild. And now you talk about stuff that really gets into under people's skins. When you talk about eating other people, it's one thing to look at the Donner Party. I mean, like you said, that's a totally different scenario and different situation. But just out of the blue, decide to start chowing down.
When you don't even need to.
No,
and it's
there's
like
no
your
need
own
for
family. Yeah,
it's like you just have that ravenous need come over you for whatever reason. She's looking like she's about ready to jump.
Well, I keep looking at stuff because I'm trying to really, I don't know, connect all these dots because I think they're connected. I think all of this stuff that we're talking about is connected. I mean, because there are such a thing as flesh-eating demons in some religions, and and some of them look eerily, again, familiar. The renditions look really familiar to the Wendigo. So trying to put, like I said, put this all together, I think it is all connected. I think we're talking about one and the same thing. We're just calling it by different names.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if you look at the Wendigo, I don't have it up or anything. I haven't looked at it, but the Wendigo does have references to other tribal names, doesn't it?
Yes.
Can you look it up?
But not just necessarily. I mean, like if you take it and go, like, say, over to Asia and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a different name for it.
Yeah, because the Huns were very.
It's a combination of several different words, several loan words from different tribes.
Right.
The Cree call it the Withikau.
Yeah.
The Ojibwe call it the Windigo.
Windigo, yeah, okay. But if we're talking about like that tribal talk right there, I mean, like she was talking about maybe China, or you talking about the Mongols, and stuff. They all had their own little, belief systems as well, and they had some sort of version of this, I bet.
Yeah, like a demon that possesses people into cannibalism. I'm sure there are other cultures that have that phenomena.
Yeah, I'm kind of reading here that in some Indian religions and even in Hinduism, that they do have flesh-eating demons. So, I mean, this is, like I said, I know it's all connected. I mean, I really do. I don't think these things are a cryptid. Again, like I said in the beginning, this is way beyond that sort of thing. I think they're, that they're out there, but they're just not. They just have a name of Wendigo. You know what I mean? They just have that name. That's
They're
what
kind
we
of
call
a wandering
them.
demon. Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's a Nephilim, because it's described as being giant.
Well,
but it's described as growing giant, really, though.
Yeah, but not only that, but if you consider the concept of the Nephilim, what demons are, they're the disembodied spirits of all the Nephilim that died in the Great Flood. What if one of those Nephilim was, because that's what eventually became demons. Maybe that's what the Wendigo really is.
Well, look up the term ghouls in that sense. I mean,
yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, they're following right along the same line as Wendigos. It's just they were ghouls.
Ghoul is actually an Arabic term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're more akin to the jinn. But it's a demon-like or being or a monstrous humanoid who often associated with graveyards and the consumption of human flesh.
That would just a jinn as well. Now that I think about it, because jinn did the same thing, but they didn't possess people really.
Yeah.
Or that we know of in the lore. I don't remember a jinn as being possession, or possessing people or something like that. But I guess it could have happened.
I don't know, guys. You gave me a lot to think about for real. I mean, because a lot of shows don't go in depth like what we're doing and the similarities and the
But it shows how interconnected all this is throughout the world and throughout history. Really, it is.
Yeah,
because you've got basically same stories running through different cultures and different parts of the world at different times. So, of course, you could still go over. We've talked about this before when we talked about Kenya. You go over into that part of the world and you talk about jinn, they're still will shake in their boots if you talk about jinn.
Yeah,
they do not want to talk about them at all. They're still to this day. It's a just don't talk about it. Just leave it alone. Roll on type thing. But the Native Americans that are up there in these areas now, I bet if you get the guys that are there all the time and the elders and such, they still believe in the Wendigo. They still believe it could happen.
They won't even. That's one of those things where they don't even feel comfortable just mentioning that word.
Yeah,
they think it's bad news. Like skinwalkers, they don't want you mentioning them around them.
Like saying Beetlejuice 3 times or Candyman 5 times. That kind of deal.
Yeah, or Bloody Mary. There's the other one.
I should have put that meme out there. That's what I should have put up there. Did I send you that meme earlier today?
No.
Donny?
No.
Oh my gosh. I'll send that to y'all. But there was a meme out there talking about, hey, my girlfriend's gonna say Beetlejuice 3 times. I'm gonna say Candyman 5 times, and we're gonna have them fight it out. And then one guy says in his best WWE announcer voice, and here comes Bloody Mary with a chair.
Right. Exactly.
Agreed, Nikki. Tony Todd was great.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think I've exhausted everything that I could say. I mean, because now I'm more confused than ever about the Wendigo.
Yeah. We know it's not a cryptid, though. We're all of the same mind. It is not a cryptid.
Yeah, it is not. It's definitely not.
Skinwalker. It's not none of that. It is a entity outside of that.
You think it's more paranormal?
Mm-hmm. 100%. No doubt in my mind. And I'm not going to go up there and tempt it either. I'm just going to stay right where I'm at right here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that thing. Hell no.
Well, see, that leads me to believe about the goat man. I mean, a lot of people talk about the goat man. The goat man is supposed to be purely demonic. But is it a goat man? Or is it just another form of a Wendigo that we're discussing?
That's what I'm thinking too. Now, as you talk about it, stuff, because the Goat Man Bridge here in Texas, same thing. I mean, because it really sounds like it might be more of a Wendigo than it really is the quote unquote demon goat man.
Yeah, I mean, because we have many different names for all of the same thing sometimes. I mean, of course, we say Bigfoot and there's Sasquatch, and there's many other names to go with it, the hairy man, wild man, but they're all the same thing. So all these stories and encounters we're talking about when people say the goat man. I mean, are we really just saying it may be just another form of Wendigo that doesn't necessarily have deer antlers? It has more like goat antlers, or goat horns, or whatever.
Much like Krampus.
Much like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Donnie. What do you think about it? I mean, do you think some of these stories are just have another name for the same creature we're talking about?
It could, because there's similar patterns and a lot of similarities. I don't know exactly where those similarities could be coming from. A lot of it could be like socioeconomic or cultural.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I found that ghouls and Wendigo have in common, according to folklore, Arabic folklore, ghouls are able to take the form of whatever human they last ate to try to lure more humans in.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
That is even worse.
And apparently there's similar-ish accounts of Wendigo doing that too.
Yeah.
Did not know that. That's a new one on me. So maybe this we'll start with the lead character. This Lee guy is not human at all anymore. Maybe he was already consumed, and his body was just being used, or visually, to be out in the public, walking among humans. Well, I believe aliens can do the same thing. I believe they can take on the appearance of humans also. Not necessarily by consuming them, but I believe that they can take on that appearance. I don't know. But it's funny how this is all kind of just going full circle to the whole alien thing. Like, they thought it was an alien. Alien. And, but they can take on the appearance of anything that the last thing they've eaten.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense, And
Right.
even if it's not quote unquote eating the actual person, but the soul, or the being itself, he could have ate that, and now he's got control of the vessel.
Riley says Vincent Lee, the guy who was involved in that murder, had read an article on the newspaper on Wendigo before killing the guy on the bus.
So wonder.
Was it premeditated? Not with the particular person, but the act. The criminal act was premeditated.
I get the feeling based off the accounts of what he was doing prior to that it was leading up to that.
He was trying to figure out if he could do it and get away with it, maybe.
Not get away with it, because he did it in front of everyone. He wasn't.
He just wanted to do it, but he needed to have time.
Yeah.
He needed to have time to complete the task he wanted to complete.
Yeah. But he never got convicted of a crime, quote unquote. He just got committed until 2017, which means he was only in there for 6 years or 8 years, 8 to 9 years.
Well, the crime occurred in 2008.
Yeah, but he got out in 2017.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 8-9 years is all he got put in some sort of
I think he should have been committed for life. Honestly,
period. He should have never gotten out.
Right. Yeah.
I think that sounds like something that was premeditated. Sounds like he was trying to do it and see if he could get over on the system.
Yeah.
Which
I
he
don't
did.
know. I mean, I've heard of these incidents occurring when somebody has overdone substances, to where they're completely out of their mind.
Yeah.
But as Donny stated, this guy had none. So was he it sounds like to me that is total mental illness.
I think that dude was Wendigo'd out.
Yeah.
Right. So why in the world would you let somebody run loose after committing a heinous crime like that?
Never.
Because
Ever.
that's just not doing away with somebody. That is, I hate to use this pun, but it's overkill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
a long shot.
Right. This is like way more than that. You know what I mean? Even when you talk about cannibalism, the cannibals didn't do it that way. They were very meticulous on how they did their things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. This is strange to me. This is getting me. This is
Well,
getting me.
Now that we're at this point, can I read you this one's from Wikipedia, but I thought this would be a good one to read. This is actually from an ethnographer of the Chippewa people.
Okay.
Who found a Native American story or a folk legend of the Wendigo.
Okay.
Okay, I'll read this to you real quick. Well, as quick as I can make it, but...
Okay.
One time long ago, a big Wendigo stole an Indian boy, but the boy was too thin, so the Wendigo didn't eat him up right away. But he traveled with the Indian boy, waiting for him till he'd get fat. The Wendigo had a knife, and he'd cut the boy in the hand to see if he was fat enough to eat, but the boy didn't get fat. They traveled too much. One day they came to an Indian village, and the Wendigo sent the boy to the Indian village to get some things for him to eat. He just gave the boy so much time to go there and back. The boy told the Indians that the Wendigo was near them and showed them his hand where the Wendigo cut him to see if he was fat enough to eat. They heard the Wendigo calling to the boy. He said to the boy, "Hurry up, don't tell lies to those Indians." All these Indians went to where the Wendigo was and cut off his legs. They went back to see if he was dead. He wasn't dead. He was eating the juice or the marrow from inside the bones of his own legs that were cut off. The Indians asked the Wendigo if there was any fat on them. He said, "You bet there is. I have eaten lots of Indians. No wonder they are fat." The Indians then killed him and cut him to pieces. This was the end of this giant Wendigo.
So the only way to kill the Wendigo, again, is to kill the vessel it's inhabiting.
Yeah, but these are the kinds of stories they would share.
Once again,
yeah,
scare the kids.
Yeah,
keep yourself in line. Stay where you're supposed to stay.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like that.
Yeah,
wow, guys. I don't know. I'm beside myself with this one.
He eats so much. Why is he skinny? I don't know, but I'm kind of jealous of his diet plan.
Yeah, obviously.
Get up on that Wendigo diet. Eat as much as you want. Never get fat.
Yeah, humans are fatty.
Yeah.
But grow really long arms and really long faces. And
I just don't know. Like I said, there is a connection to all of this. I think that just somewhere it is lost in cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it's all the same thing. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I mean, honestly, it's got to be just different names for the same thing, just like you're saying. So, quite frankly, Wendigos, Wendigo, and Wendigo, and what was the other? What?
There was the English word at the time, like back in the 1800s, was white to go.
White to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, we're the one that is the ghoul and the jinn are probably the oldest references to this particular type of being, is what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking that they're basically all the same, like you're saying.
I don't know. What does everybody out there think? I mean, honestly, what do y'all think? Please, after the show, write a comment and let us know what you think it is.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, this is so open for I shouldn't say debate, but interpretation. Anybody can come up with it, and none of them are wrong because nobody knows.
Yeah, that's a perfect word. Interpretation. What do you think it is? And just leave a comment and let us know.
Boondock says, I've heard a common thing about the Wendigo is they've all eaten their own lips. Riley says demonic entity.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense because they ate everything.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, God.
I don't know.
I'm still back at the Night of the Living Dead thing, brain. I mean, they're just trying to eat everything they eat, but nothing. What I want to know is this folklore and such with it. What is the reasoning behind their desire for the human flesh? Their ravenous need for consuming flesh. What's the whole reason behind that?
What's the reason why demons do what they do? What's the reason why? Yeah.
Yes.
But you got demons that do certain things, and they usually, when you talk about on the Christianity side, even on the on Buddhist and different sides of other religions, there's a demon, but there's certain things associated with certain demons. You know what I mean? But there's always been a reason. You know what I mean? When you get a legend about a demon in the in Christian books and such, there's a reason why it's doing it. It's some sort of punishment for whatever. There's some sort of story backing it up. This still, even though there's nothing about the human flesh consumption that I can see or find as a reason why, we're still back to this is stories that are told to keep children in line the most of the time.
According to Jack Fiddler, his account, or like his son's account, apparently some enemy tribes, aggressive tribes, would summon a Wendigo to attack other tribes.
That sounds like a golem
on each other. Yeah, kind of like a
golem.
Yeah.
So what was that? Was it an old? Was it Yiddish or was it Celtic? Where they
golem,
I
think is Yiddish.
Is Yiddish, right?
Yeah.
And there you are again. There's another one that's it's not a demon per se, but it's a being that to do the bidding of the person summoning, or a protector in some situations.
Dark magic, man. Dark magic.
Yeah. But I'm looking up all the things, the psychosis, Wendigo psychosis is the one that pops up the most, but it's definitely in other cultures, just name something different. And it is a psychological degenerative disorder. So it is, I don't know.
So it does have a medical excuse then. But you tell me it's got a medical reasoning behind it for the most part. But what's causing that medical reasoning to happen at that particular time?
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of what we would consider cannibalism is more or less they did it for a ritual significance. To be a stronger warrior or whatever, they would consume their enemy, say.
Yeah. And absorb their strength.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Amazonian rainforest, the headhunters, if you want to, for lack of a better term. That's what we're talking about there.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of their reasoning.
I don't know, guys. This is just giving me more questions, and I have no answers.
Although we're never going to have the answer to this. All we can do is postulate and think about what it would do this, why would it do this, and how is it affecting everything.
I don't know. That is a good question.
Yeah.
Wait, let me check this map again. Oh no, they're in Maryland. Oh no.
We're keeping an eye on you.
Oh no.
Looks like it goes all the way down to North Carolina.
Randy, you don't have to worry about them. You're all the way down in Texas.
Yeah, I'm safe too. Randy, we're safe.
They just missed you, Randy.
I got money if I go start checking out the
no.
Comanche folklore and such. There's something like it down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
probably
I'm
got
from-
their own
I'm
stuff
from
down there.
Michigan.
Yeah.
I'm from Michigan originally.
Yeah. So it followed
But
you.
never encountered a Wendigo or never heard of that growing up. I mean,
But we
if
know
it
how
was,
things like
my
that follow
parents
you.
probably shielded me. You know,
Mhm.
they shielded us from that type of information.
Yeah.
But wow. But wow.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, you know, you like having things follow you home and stuff sometimes. So don't go back to Michigan for a while.
Yeah. Well, no, I went to Michigan a few years back, and I was with Krista and stuff, and I brought one of my friends with me.
Oh joy.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was like, oh joy, yes, oh yay.
Mm.
But the fun thing is it wasn't for me, it was for them. I had a great weekend. Nothing bothered me, didn't hear nothing, you know, nobody was trying to talk to me, nothing like that. But they were bothering Krista in her
They were
room.
like, fresh meat.
Well, it's kind of like that. It is really kind of like that, because when I take these trips, it is so funny because it will bother everyone else, but not me. It only bothers me when I get back home. It's like, okay, well, you're the only one left, so here we are. So
Well,
here we
we're
are.
we're settling for what's left now.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it happened in Michigan. It happened in Tennessee. It's happened Texas. It's happened a lot of places.
Yeah.
You know, where this thing seems to follow me. Everything's good. I have a great time while I'm gone until I get home. And then it's a whole different story.
Then it's like,
But I don't.
wake up.
Wake up. No.
Maybe Bigfoot is the one protecting us from the Wendigo, guys.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
sure.
the dogmen are attack dogs, are guard dogs, if you will.
Yeah, maybe the whole point of Dogman is to keep the Wendigo at bay.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe.
Yeah, they got the deer lady. I wonder if the deer lady's got anything to do with the Wendigo. Even though the deer lady's got the hooves of a deer, whereas Wendigo's got the antlers of a deer.
Yeah.
They're opposite ends.
I know, but when you think about a lady, any type of lady, you would think more docile. You wouldn't think of flesh consuming.
Wait, are we forgetting Hansel and Gretel and the witch? There's another one that could have possibly been a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Because you think about it. But, you know, once again, supposedly it was a person.
I mean, because we got to go back to 1879. He was boiling up that stuff and you know, da. What was she doing in the story? What was the witch doing in the story? She was getting ready to boil him up.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
That was funny that you brought that up, Randy. That was.
Well, I just thought of it because somebody had mentioned Hansel and Gretel in the comments earlier, and I started thinking about it. I was like, wait a second. We were talking about the deer lady, and they made me think of witch, and then, oh crap! Well, wait a second. Now, what was she doing with Hansel and Gretel?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for real. I don't.
So
I don't. Oh, everybody, I'm so confused.
I'm not confused. I just know what I'm not going to touch and mess around with.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but I still think it's demonic possession of some sort, whether it be permanent or temporary. But I don't know. I don't, because if they were planning these things, the guy, I can't remember his name, 1879. I remember the
Swiftbrenner. Yeah.
How far in advance was he thinking about this? Because, you know, saying during the winter months, if you are completely isolated due to weather, because 20 miles is a very long way to go on foot in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was isolated completely around his family, does that not ring like The Shining vibes to you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how long had he been thinking about this?
Yeah.
And to do 7 people like that one at a time, that takes a lot of.
I mean, he
Like-
would have had to have caught them all and just held them until he
Yeah.
was ready for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Of course, in the dead of winter, he could have just taken them outside, frozen them up, and then brought them back in and, done what he needed to do. But I don't know what he would have had the forethought, I'm assuming, to do that.
Yeah.
But then otherwise, he would have had to held them captive.
Boondock Mojo's asking us a question. He's asking, Brandi, Donny, and Randy, have any of you ever attended a Comanche powwow?
I have not.
Been years, but I did in the 80s. Yeah, in the 80s, because the Comanche were big around this area of Texas right here. Back about Quanah Parker, who my county's named after Quanah Parker County here. His mother was Cynthia Ann Parker, who was kidnapped by the Comanche, and later on he kind of led Comanche raids and such in this area as well. So, but there's a large, there was a large at that time Comanche population around the area here that they were trying to revive, or they would do their powwows every so often, and it was kind of cool to go see. Now, we weren't involved obviously in their inner workings type thing, but we were allowed to watch and observe the actual dances and such like that. It was kind of cool. It really was. It was back in the 80s, so but I haven't been to one in years, and I don't even think they do them around here anymore. So
I know. I've seen like the reels and stuff where they do these. I mean, I've seen some of the videos and stuff, but I've never attended one. I mean, it would be really cool to do so.
Yeah, just to watch it. I mean, it's pretty amazing, actually. I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Well,
Boondock's up in Oklahoma. I don't go to Oklahoma unless somebody makes me.
Yeah. Well, we're at that hour and a half mark anyway. So. I know. But with that, I'm confused. I like I said, after the show, leave your comments. Let us know what you think, and we'll go back and read them, because we're learning from you as you're listening to us. So so make sure you make those comments and give that thumbs up. And before you go, if you're just listening, please hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up, and hit that notification bell. That way you can chat with us at any time while we're on air. Now, that's not only for this show, but it's also for Blondes and Boos, because we're all on the same channel. So don't forget that. Donnie, what's happening this weekend? What's happening?
I haven't decided yet. I don't know. I think this weekend, because this weekend's my birthday weekend, so I think this episode of Says Stuff might be a more casual, just invite whoever wants to come on, and we just have a free for all.
Nice. See, I love those. I love just the let's bring something up and talk about it.
So I'm gonna do an open invite to our group chat. Like, you guys, like anyone who wants to come on, just.
Because I think we're doing it with Paul too.
Yeah, because Paranormal Paul, on his channel, he has one that's going to be just a free for all to talk about.
So I figured we just have it carry over. Yeah.
We'll just have it carry on, and then we're going to have to flip on to, Bigfoot Michigan Rob into the Bazaar.
Yeah. You know what it is, guys? Coming up with a new theme song, and like, my show's a comedy show, so coming up with new bits every week, it's not easy. It's kind of hard. So like, I just sometimes on a given week, I just want a break.
Well, you know what I would do is I would just make one song that you're really just it just encompasses your whole show, whether it's the humorous to the serious, but do that and use that. Just use that one until you're ready to change it.
Coming up with new jokes once a week is not easy. It is not easy. Like, sometimes I'm just sitting there thinking, like, oh man, come on with a bit. It ain't easy, guys. So.
And you just sit there going, Well, it's an hour before showtime. I ain't got nothing yet. Well,
Yeah.
guess we're gonna have some fun
Because
tonight.
even the comedians that get paid the big bucks, they do the same show over and
Yeah,
over.
no, they
and
do the
over.
same joke. Yeah, they're not coming up with new jokes every week.
No, they're not.
No.
No, they're not. So I think you kind of picked the hardest thing to do is coming up with
Yeah.
jokes every week. That's a little tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Maybe
well.
you should take a break and do a couple serious shows and then go back into your funny business.
Yeah. So yeah, open invite. We'll just do a carryover of what Paul's planning on doing. I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
Friday night's going to be an interesting night. Is all I got to say. Then we'll carry over to Rob's and just invade him too.
Yeah,
exactly. Let's just make
we
a
can
night
storm
of it.
Rob's. Yeah.
Bring your snacks, your drinks. Well,
6 hours of
non-alcoholic
just
for
beating
us,
up on
but
each
you know
other.
what I mean. Non-alcoholic for us. You can everybody out there in chat land and who's watching, bring whatever drink you want.
There you go.
But I will probably have my snacks. I that's a long time. That's a very long time.
Yep.
Lots of popcorn.
Well, yes. So, with that being said, good night, everybody, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you guys.
Good night.